I will call the meeting of the Sheriff County Planning and Zoning Committee to order. The meeting will begin with a public hearing. Anyone other than the applicant or their representative wishing to speak must register and submit the registration slips to the zoning administrator at this time. Following the hearing, we will conduct our monthly business meeting, at which time we will vote on the applications. You may stay and hear how the applications are decided, or you may leave following the hearing. The applicant and town board will be sent a copy of tonight's decision. Any other person wishing to receive a copy of the decision can sign the sheet on the table by the north doors. Those of you wishing immediate knowledge of the outcome of these proceedings may call the county zoning office tomorrow morning. The procedure we will follow for the hearing for each application is as follows. After each application is read, the applicant, their agent, or representative will be asked to present their application, followed by any questions or comments from the committee. Then all correspondence will be read. Then others in favor will have a chance to speak. Anyone objecting will then have a chance to speak. And I will ask for the summary of the committee's field observation and any other staff comments. And finally, the applicant will be allowed a chance for a short rebuttal if they wish. Anyone wishing to speak should use the microphone, state their name, and direct their comments to the committee. I ask that all testimony be kept brief with no more than 5 minutes and to the point. If you are testifying as a nearby landowner, please tell us where your property is located relative to the subject property. Tonight's hearing will be recorded, and recordings will become part of the record. Comments that are based on hearsay or secondhand information, as well as slanderous or prejudicial remarks, will be ruled out of order. The committee has looked at all the properties, and the record will reflect these observations. Any person affected by the administrative decision of this committee has 10 days from the filing of tonight's decision to make an appeal. Such appeals are heard by the Board of Adjustments. Information and applications are available from the zoning office. The county assumes no liability and makes no warranty as to the legality of any construction commenced prior to the expiration of a 10-day period. I will now introduce the committee. To my left is Bob Wadle, Larry Crawford, Fred Galloway's first, Larry Crawford. I'm Joe Piaski, the vice chair. To my right is Terry Puckstedt, zoning administrator. Is this going his block?
Yep, goes in Bob's.
Okay. Our first application is a conditional use for Gregory Falk of Sussex, Wisconsin, has made an application for a conditional use in accordance with sections 58-236-18 and 58-454-31 of the Sheriff County Zoning Code to store a 2012 Forest River 28-foot travel trailer in the AG General Agricultural Zone. The location, approximate 35.5 acre parcel of land known as Lot 1, certified survey map number 3317, being part of the North 1/2, Section 6, Town 18, Range 13, Town of Aurora, N2393 Jade Road. Is the applicant here? We come up to the microphone. And state your name and tell us a little bit about your project.
My name is Greg Falk. I have a travel trailer on the property, which it's fairly well screened from the houses nearby. It's used for usually camping, occasional weekends, and for deer hunting and turkey, spring and fall turkey hunting. I'm always there. For the one house to the west of me, there's actually had planted a area of Norway spruce to be a windbreak for building site, and hopefully, well, assuming that those keep growing, I think that's going to screen out the house on the west, which already it's pretty good. And then on the house that's more or less to the east, southeast of the trailer, there's quite a piece of woods that separates us, and in the growing season, it's pretty much invisible from that larger house over there. So I think, in conclusion, I think that where it is right now is a good spot because it's behind the tree line, and if I had a smaller one up in the pole barn, that would concentrate the activity up front, in the front area, and right now it concentrates my activity behind the tree line, and I only use a pole barn. I have a tractor in there, so, and I use the garage door on the back side of it. I do have a slider door on the other end, which, you know, probably won't use that very often, but hopefully that satisfies the requirements, and I think it's a 10-acre minimum to get the land use permits. I'm hoping that that it's okay to leave it right where it is.
Okay, we have a few questions for you.
Has there been a recent survey on that property?
I had some survey work done on both sides where the houses are there, to clarify the property lines, and everything's understood. Everything is clearly marked. I used pipes, and I also used some boulders. I don't know if you noticed that, but they're clearly marked off, and the neighbor to my south and east had his own surveyor come out to verify, and Mo's and Green Lake Surveying both agreed on that line through there. So yes, yes, I did.
Okay. Is the trailer licensed and roadworthy?
I have the title, and I did have the registration paid for the first year. I did not pay that the second, or a couple months into this second year. Would that be something that I would need to do?
You do need to keep it licensed at all times, so
Okay.
you will need to renew that annually, and we will check for the little sticker.
Okay. I'll get that as soon as I can.
Will the trailer be at least 100 feet from all lot lines?
Yes.
And are you are sure of the lot lines? You have them marked with pipes and boulders and whatever?
Positive of all those, the entire lot lines of the entire property.
Will there be running water to the trailer?
No, there's no running water. I carry in drinking water only.
What type of sanitary facilities are you planning to utilize?
I had been using a composting style toilet, but I was told by Rick Erdl that he would prefer if I had a chemical type of toilet. So anybody would like to?
Can we keep this? Can we make a copy and send it back to you?
Yes.
Okay, because we would like to have this, so, proof of it, so, if we can do that.
And are there any other buildings or structures planned?
I have nothing planned at this time. I might build when I retire. I'm 53 now, so that's a ways out. But I'd kind of like to consider building a house up in that front part of the lot where the power, the meter is, and probably along where those trees were planted up front.
Okay. Are there other trailers in the area?
Not that I know of. I think in that little subdivision, I think there are one or two structures that are possibly double wide or modular homes, and then there's a couple higher end homes in that little cul-de-sac. So there's a variety of value levels in there.
Will a new driveway be needed?
Probably not. I don't think so.
Is this property in the managed forest law?
It is not right now. I am planning on looking into that. It's actually being logged right now and by New Page, and we're gonna I'm going to attempt to get it into managed forest law.
And do you have a uniform property address number at that place?
There is an address of North 2393 Jade Road, and I have a legal description here too, with all the ends and or all the other numbers. Right here, I've got a certified survey of that lot.
Okay. And those other properties to the west, I think it is, they all have their fire numbers. I think we noticed that coming in, right?
The fire numbers of everybody on the end there are all displayed right out front.
Okay. Have you talked to the town board and your neighbors about this placement of the trailer?
I talked to just the two neighbors right next to me. I visited the one and I called the other and talked about it, and they seemed okay with it being there. The one said that they could just barely see it when they're on their second floor looking down, so I don't think it was bothering anybody.
And you had no communication with the town board?
I called I should say I left a message with Kevin Krentz, town board chairman.
Okay.
I didn't get any response. And maybe I should have made sure that, no, okay.
We'll be checking that out. I think there will be some comment made by Terry about that. And the trailer is already on the property, right? On your property?
Correct.
Okay. Those are all the questions that I have.
So
Any
you can have
correspondence?
We don't have any correspondence. No one registered to speak in favor or objecting.
We need staff comments.
We did not hear anything from the town board, just so you're aware.
It's usually a good thing when nobody says anything.
They talk a lot more when they're opposed to something.
I see.
For the record, the committee has previously been furnished with a copy of the site plan and all the other data that you submitted. And at this time, I'd like to explain a little bit about conditional use permits. All defined zones have uses that are permitted outright on your property. You could build a home without having to go through this process. Then there are others that are listed that can be permitted, provided they meet the criteria in the code and they meet any conditions that the committee might put on it should they approve it after a public hearing. And it's those conditions that turn it into a conditional use permit. So that's what we're looking at here. It's the landowner's responsibility to provide that information and shows the committee this use is still in keeping with the zone and area it is proposed for, and that the conditions placed on it will ensure that it will be a good neighbor to the surrounding landowners. Town of Aurora does not have very many travel trailers in it. We have other townships that have quite a few more. But you should be aware of all the conditions: licensed and roadworthy, no attachments, can't build a screen porch, you know, those kinds of things. We need the sanitary facilities other than what's in there. And we will check the property once a year and do an inspection to make sure that everything's still in compliance. So when the committee visited the property, they noted that the trailer is fairly well hidden from surrounding residences and the road, and that was even in the winter without leaves on the trees. And they also did not note any sanitary facilities other than those likely contained in the trailer. That's pretty much it for my comments.
Anything else you'd like to comment on?
No, that would be it.
Take a seat then. Okay, our second application is a text amendments from the office here. I guess I'll leave Terry explain it.
Yep, I'm going to explain a little bit about the text amendment process and what the next steps are. Every year as we use our codes, we note items that may need tweaking or that should be amended. Sometimes the suggestions come from agencies we work with, such as DNR or Commerce. Oh, thank you. Sometimes they come from staff, sometimes they come from the public, and sometimes they come from a town board or planning commission. And then in the winter, we look at those areas of the code and make changes where it seems like it's going to work and where everyone thinks it's necessary. The amendments before you are a result of that process. We have given them to all interested agencies, and they have been reviewed by our corporation council. All comments received so far have been mostly favorable. There are 2 code chapters that need to be reviewed at tonight's public hearing, and those are amendments to the utilities or POUTS, private on-site wastewater treatment system, and zoning code. The Planning and Zoning Committee will review changes to the building and mechanical code and manure storage code at their business meeting. And then the changes proposed are not real sweeping or contain a lot of new material. Like I said, it's really some tweaking and cleanup that we always do. If these amendments are approved by the committee, they will go to the county board for adoption at one of their upcoming meetings, and they only become effective after adoption by the full county board. The committee reviewed the proposed amendments in January at their business meeting, and all comments, as well as those of legal counsel, were incorporated into this final draft. As I mentioned the other day, there was just a couple minor changes from what we went over in January to what you see before you tonight, and those were all because of legal counsel's suggestions. And if you have any questions on them, I would be happy to answer them. But otherwise, I think you have the final draft. And obviously, there's no one here to speak unless you want to talk about text amendments too, but.
Okay, I guess that would close our public hearing portion of the meeting, and we will now go on to our business meeting.
Look at mine.
Roll call has been taken. I guess we need approval of the agenda. For a second?
I'll second.
Made second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Approval of the minutes of the last meeting. Need a motion?
I move that we approve.
For a second?
What?
Motion made second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Old business, none, new business, action on public hearing applications. I guess the first one would be Gregory Falk. How do you find?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Anybody have any thoughts or discussion on the
Just-
placement out there?
Just like he said,